Okay, so that's what a platform as a service means. So platform as a service is just an environment where developers write their programs, build applications, yeah, over the internet, of course without managing hardware or infrastructures. Okay, so what then is the difference between these two things? Like I said in the first video, to say infrastructure as a service, the providers will only give you the basic infrastructures. These infrastructures as servers, storage, and then when they give you those infrastructures, it's you now to configure them, manage them, maintain them, and all that. But when you look at platform as a service, you are already given the environment. You don't have to configure anything. Your main goal or your main purpose of using platform as a service is just to build applications, run your code over the in the cloud or over the internet. Okay, so we now look at we go to software as a service. So we'll now look at what software as a service means. So what is a software? So we have a software, we have software as a service. Okay, so what then is a software? What is this software? So when you look at software, so a software is a program or application used to perform a certain task. Examples of application or softwares, we have email apps, online documents, messaging apps. So those are one of the examples of softwares. Okay, so I'll give it a scenario as usual. Like in football, software is like an actual football service being used. Examples of these actual football services, we can have a match analysis, a player statistics app, a football scheduling app. Okay, so these are the softwares that the cloud will provide you without you building them. They just offer you to use them for whatever reason you want to use them. Okay, and then when we look at as a service, we already talked about this. So it's just you don't own it, you just use it over the internet. Okay, so you just use it and leave it over the internet. And then now, what's the proper definition of software as a service? So would describe software as a service as a cloud computing model where ready-made software or applications are delivered over the internet for users to access and use them. So as a user, you just create an account, log in, and then regarding what you want to do with that application, it's already there offered for you. Your task is just to log in, then do whatever you want to do over the internet, and then you leave it without you owning it, because when we talk about you owning it, it's very, very expensive. Okay, so that's about uh, software as a service. Okay, so what's the difference now between an infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, and software as a service? When we combine these three, when you look at the difference, of course, infrastructure as a service, they will provide you with the basic infrastructure such as servers and storage. Of course, I said, you have to configure those by yourself. The responsibility of maintaining them is on you. And then platform as a service, they provide you with the platform. You don't have to configure anything. All you need is to run applications, build applications. That's it. So that's the difference. Of course, I'll send the notes over these models. Okay, so we will now go to question 4. Yes, so what is question 4 asking us to do? So it's saying identify 2 factors that influence choice of a cloud deployment model. Identify 2 factors that influence choice of a cloud deployment model. Before we look at factors, or before we identify factors that influence choice of cloud deployment, let's understand what cloud deployment model is. So what is a cloud deployment model? Okay, so what is a cloud deployment model? So cloud deployment model basically means how cloud services are set up and used. How cloud, so I'll write this one. How cloud how cloud how cloud services are set up and used. Okay, so they have to set up these models, and how do you use them? Of course, when we look at what the question is asking us to identify 2 factors. So when you look at the definition of cloud deployment, by this you can't get any factor to compare which one can you go with. Okay, so it's not just about setting up, and it's not how cloud services are set up and used. It's also about looking at security. How secure are these cloud models? Okay, so we'll talk about those cloud models in a bit. So we have examples of cloud models or cloud deployment models. The first example is public cloud. Public cloud. I'll explain what this means. We also have private cloud. We also have what we call a hybrid cloud. So like I said, it's not just about these services, how they are set up and used, but we also look at what we call security. Okay, so I'll explain how these models, what they really are. Okay, so before we answer the question, I want us to there's this scenario that I want to bring across. So we need to think of these cloud models as which type of cloud setup should a business choose. I think that gives us a clear picture of what we want. Okay, so the question is asking about the factors, but we need between these factors, which one should a business choose? Okay, in simple terms, what influences the decision? What makes you decide this model is better than the other? So like I said, we are looking at security. We are looking at security requirements. So that's the first factor that we want to look at when you look at the cloud deployment model. So we are looking at security requirements. The second requirement or the second factor is cost or budget. Okay, so when we look at factor one, which is security requirements. What does security, so when we talk about security, we are talking about how secure something is. For example, we have maybe protection of maybe passwords, protection of business information, preventing unauthorized access. That's what basically security means. And then when we look at we have an example. You have a company of which that company you stored very sensitive data. Okay, so between these among these models, public, private, of course, just looking at them, you are able to tell to say someone can go for private cloud model. Yeah. So what do private cloud model offer? So you find that under private cloud model, the resources that they offer you, they are very much secure compared to public cloud model, because public cloud model, anyone can access it, can access these model which are public. And of course, I want us to agree on one thing, which is when you think when you look at it as in soccer, you find that that place when you want to go and watch soccer, you find that those places are highly crowded. That's the reason why they introduce where there are VIPs. There's a VIP where the VIP people sit. That's because there is much secure compared to where regular people sit. Okay.